imperative form, and prohibitive form. Hello guys, Takashi here. Today, let's learn two new verb forms, the imperative form and the prohibitive form. Both the imperative form and prohibitive forms are used to give commands. The imperative form is used to tell someone what to do, and the prohibitive form is used to tell someone what not to do. For example, そこに行け, go there. そこに行け. これを食べるな, do not eat this. これを食べるな. But be careful, these are very strong commands. So unless you use them in the right context, you may sound rude or even hostile. So in this video, we will first learn how to make these forms and then when it's appropriate to use them. Alright, first how to make the imperative form. The conjugation rules are different for each verb group. If you want to review how to identify verb groups, please watch the video for lesson 14. Alright, let's start with group 3 verbs. There are only two group 3 verbs, する or します, to do, and 来る or 来ます, to come. And you just have to memorize that the imperative form of する or します is しろ, and 来る or 来ます is 来い. しろ, 来い. Next, group 2 verbs. For group 2 verbs, if it's the diction form, change the final る to ろ. If it's the ます form, change ます to ろ. 食べる, 食べます, 食べろ. 教える, 教えます, 教えろ. あげる, あげます, あげろ. And lastly, group 1 verbs. If it's the diction form, change the final う vowel sound to the え vowel sound. If it's the ます form, change the い vowel sound plus ます to the え vowel sound. 行く, 行きます. 行け. 飲む, 飲みます. 飲め. 買う, 買います. 買え. Or for group 1 verbs, you can also use the hiragana chart. If you start with the diction form, just move one row down. If you start with the ます form, move 2 rows down. By the way, if you add る to the imperative form, it becomes the potential form, which expresses can, or like be able to. So, this is the summary of how to make the imperative form. Next, how to make the prohibitive form. The conjugation rules are the same for all the verb groups. It's just the diction form of the verb plus な. If you need to review how to make the diction form, please watch the video for lesson 14. 行くな, 飲むな, 食べるな, 教えるな, するな, 来るな. Alright, now that we know how to make these forms, let's learn when to use them. 見ろ, look. A similar expression is 見てください, please look. Among friends or family, it's also very common to drop ください and just say 見て. 見て is a request, but 見ろ is a command. So even though these sentences convey the same message, they are completely different in terms of politeness. In most situations, you should stick with てください because it's more polite. By the way, there are expressions that are even more polite than てください, such as てくれませんか, ていただけませんか, and so on. If you want to review those, please watch lesson 26, part 2. Anyway, back to the imperative form. So the imperative form is used when you think there is no need to be polite to the other person at all. It's basically used when you want to sound rude, scary, harsh, urgent, intimidating, or commanding. For example, when someone is angry, they might say something like, 前見ろ, look where you're going, 前見ろ. Or someone trying to rob a bank might say, この袋に金を入れろ, put the money in this bag, この袋に金を入れろ. And the same goes to the prohibitive form. 動くな, do not move. It's a command. 動くな. 動かないで, please don't move. It's a request. 動かないで. A police officer might say, 動くな、手を挙げろ. Don't move, put your hands up. 動くな、手を挙げろ. A very strict coach might say, ペースを落とすな. Do not lose pace. ペースを落とすな. So basically, in everyday conversations, you don't want to use these two forms. They are reserved for situations involving anger, urgency, or authority. The textbook Minna no Nihongo explains that these two forms are used in the following situations. Number 1. By a man senior in age or status to someone who is his junior, or by a parent to their child. That said, even in these kinds of relationships, you want to avoid using these forms to be on the safe side. For example, just because you're a boss, it doesn't mean you can say to someone who works under you something like, クライアントに電話しろ. Give the client a call. Or, まだクライアントに電話するな. Don't call the client yet. I mean, this kind of speech might have been somewhat more common in the past, but in modern workplaces, it sounds unnecessarily harsh. The same goes for parents to their children. Using these forms isn't very common today. But of course, it depends on the household. Yeah, I do sometimes hear parents use them with their kids. Like, 静かにしろ, be quiet, especially when they're angry or irritated by their children. Or like, もう10時だよ, 早く寝ろ. It's already 10 o'clock, go to bed quickly. In a soft and kind of playful tone, like, 早く寝ろ. Number 2, among male friends. I personally don't really use these forms with my friends, but I do hear people use them among really close friends every now and then. Like if someone says, 暇だな, I'm so bored. Then it's acceptable to say something like, じゃあうち来いよ. 今みんなでゲームしてるんだ. Then come over, man. We're all playing games right now. Or, お前お酒弱いんだから、あんまり飲むなよ. You're bad with alcohol, so don't drink too much. あんまり飲むなよ. This is also acceptable. Women can speak like this too, but yeah, as Minna no Nihongo says, it's much more common among men. But be careful. Like in these examples, you should use these forms to give commands for the listener's benefit, not for your own convenience, unless you're intentionally trying to be rude as a joke. So like saying something like, 塩取れ, pass me the salt. 塩取れ sounds extremely rude, even among close friends, or even from parents to their children. You should say, 塩取って instead. 塩取って. Number 3, when brevity and impact are prioritized. For example, when there is no time to be polite, like during a fire, earthquake, or other emergency. Like, 逃げろ! Run! 逃げろ! When yelling encouragement at a sports event. 頑張れ! Do your best! 行け! Go! 行け! Go, go, go! On traffic signs and in slogans. 止まれ, stop. Number 4. This one is not included in Minna no Nihongo, but these two forms are also used when indirectly quoting what someone else said. 先生にこの薬を飲めと言われました. I was told to take this medicine by my doctor. 先生にお風呂に入るなと言われました. I was told not to take a bath by my doctor. These are common even when the speaker didn't actually use the imperative or prohibitive form. The nasai form. Actually, there is a more polite version of the imperative form. I'm going to call it the nasai form. First, how to make it. It's just the stem form of the verb plus nasai. If you forgot, the stem form is the mas form without mas. So for example, the stem form of 食べます is 食べ. 食べなさい eat 食べなさい. This one is also a command, like 食べろ. But it sounds more polite and softer. Unlike the imperative form, It does not sound too rude or harsh, but it still sounds commanding. So you shouldn't use this toward someone of higher social status than you. It's usually only used in specific relationships, like from parents to children. 野菜も食べなさい. Eat your vegetables too. 野菜も食べなさい. From teachers to students. 静かにしなさい. Be quiet. 静かにしなさい. And it's also commonly used in test instructions. 空欄に入る言葉を選びなさい. Choose the word that goes in the blank. 空欄に入る言葉を選びなさい. You can also drop the さい and just say な. Like 食べな. This one is more casual. Nasai is not really used among friends. Like it's a little too formal. But this one, just na, is very commonly used among friends by both men and women. So if your friend says something like, 美味しそうだな. 一口もらっていい? Wow, that looks so good. Can I have a bite? Here you can say, いいよ、食べな. Sure, go ahead. いいよ、食べな. 食べな. Alright, that's it for today. 今日も皆さん、日本語の勉強本当にお疲れ様です。じゃあまた次のビデオで会いましょう。じゃあまたね。バイバイ。